Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's head outside and take a look outside our weather window. And still that lingering smoke and haze, but boy, nothing like we saw yesterday. This is looking up the upper valley, and you can still see some of those hazy skies and some light cloud cover over the Cascades today, but much better air quality today around our area. Not a bad day as far as temperatures go either. And as we take a look at our 7-day forecast moving ahead, should be a nice one this weekend. We are going to start off with a little haze tomorrow. It will warm up to about 85, near 90 on Sunday, which may be the last real warm day we see this year before we see a slow cool down. And by Thursday, maybe a shower with highs only in the upper 70s. We'll have more weather for you coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A man recently released from prison on a conviction for arson is accused of setting another fire, this one in his room at the Wenatchee Motel 6. The alleged leader of a gang-related ambush in East Wenatchee last year was sentenced yesterday to 3.5 years in prison. And a former Mission Ridge employee must pay back about $40,000 she diverted from the Wenatchee ski resort. But first, our top story tonight. A 54-year-old Omak man was killed late last night after a pickup rolled down an embankment off Highway 155 about 12 miles south of Omak. The Washington State Patrol said the man was one of two people in a 2011 GMC Canyon pickup that was southbound on the highway about 11:15 p.m. at a high rate of speed when it left the roadway, went through a guardrail, and rolled. The State Patrol said it hasn't been determined yet who was driving the pickup. The other occupant, 35-year-old Luis Zekurli of Omak, was injured and transported to Mid-Valley Hospital in Omak. His condition was not immediately available. One of the occupants was thrown from that vehicle. A man recently released from prison on a conviction of arson is accused of setting another fire, this one in his room at the Wenatchee Motel 6. Firefighters were summoned to the hotel at about 1 o'clock this morning after a fire in a second-story room climbed into the attic. Wenatchee police say while they investigated, 40-year-old Christopher Carey Blanchard admitted setting fire to his bed in the rear-facing room. Blanchard checked into the hotel the night before. He was recently released after serving about 16 months for a previous arson. Blanchard lives with mental health issues and was a resident at Parkside Crisis Center when he set his room on fire back in November of 2020. He remained jailed this afternoon at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center on pending criminal charges. The alleged leader of a gang-related ambush in East Wenatchee last year was sentenced yesterday to 3.5 years in prison. 26-year-old Jorge Reyes pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree assault in a June 2021 shooting near 9th and Baker Streets that left one man wounded. The plea agreement in Douglas County Superior Court allowed Reyes to avoid charges of attempted murder and first-degree assault. East Wenatchee police say Reyes led a group in a gang-related ambush, staking out a home and opening fire when the intended victim arrived at the house. 4 other adult men and 1 juvenile still face trial over the next 2 months, charged as accomplices. Police say the shooting arose from an earlier assault in which gang members attacked and robbed an East Wenatchee teenager, and the victim's father challenged the assailants to settle the matter. A 15-year-old boy from Rock Island is charged with first-degree robbery based on that incident. A former Mission Ridge employee must pay back about $40,000 she diverted from the Wenatchee ski resort. 50-year-old Mary Elizabeth Peterson of Eniat pleaded guilty to third-degree theft in Chelan County Superior Court on Wednesday. She admitted it crediting Mission Ridge funds to her accounts in 2018 and 2019 while she was working as manager of the ticketing department. The resort dismissed her and discovered the losses in fall of 2019. Chelan County prosecutors say Peterson has prepaid a large part of the restitution. Her plea allowed her to avoid a more serious charge of first-degree theft. She has no prior record and will not serve any jail time. Well, a quick announcement before we head you to break. We were told this afternoon that the Alzheimer Association walk that was scheduled for tomorrow at Walla Walla Park has now been canceled due to smoke. So if you were planning on taking part in that walk, not going to happen tomorrow. We'll let you know if it's rescheduled. When we come back, former nurses suing Confluence Health over its COVID-19 vaccine requirements were allowed to amend their lawsuit yesterday. Investigators into the August 30th Union Valley fire between Chelan and Manson are now asking people who may have seen a white dump truck pulling an excavator on Union Valley Road that day to contact them. Air quality in Wenatchee Valley reached hazardous levels overnight Thursday and remained unhealthy into today. And black bear activity in the Icicle Valley has closed a Forest Service campground near Leavenworth. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back. In another news, former nurses suing Confluence Health over its COVID-19 vaccine requirements were allowed to amend their lawsuit yesterday, even as a judge considers a motion to toss the case out of court. 92 former staffers at the healthcare system claim Confluence violated their rights when it demanded COVID vaccinations as a condition of employment. Confluence Health says its mandate was in accordance with state and federal law and has asked Douglas County Judge Brian Huber to dismiss the case. Huber is still weighing that decision, but yesterday he allowed changes to the nurse's legal complaint to allege that Confluence discriminated against some plaintiffs on the basis of disability. Investigators into the August 30th Union Valley fire between Chelan and Manson are now asking people who may have seen a white dump truck pulling an excavator on Union Valley Road that day to please contact them. Specifically, the Department of Natural Resources investigators would like to talk with the occupants of a small white sedan, newer model white GMC pickup, and red Dodge pickup who may have passed the dump truck about 2 p.m. the day of the fire. Ryan Roderick, a communications manager with DNR, said he could not comment on what role the dump truck and excavator might have played in that fire. The fire was first reported as several small fires along Union Valley Road about 2:30 p.m. and led to level 3 get out now evacuation notices for some residents of the area. The fire in brush and timber burned about 20 acres. Well, air quality in Wenatchee Valley reached hazardous levels overnight Thursday and remained unhealthy into today. The worst in Wenatchee came at 1 o'clock this morning when the State Department of Ecology reported air quality was at 327. Any reading above 300 is considered hazardous. By 9 o'clock this morning, the air had improved to 162, which is still within the unhealthy range. The worst air quality overnight in north central Washington was in Twisp, where at 1 this morning it was at a hazardous 335. Also recording unhealthy conditions this morning were Kashmir, Chelan, and Leavenworth, though none of those communities reached hazardous levels. Smoke from fires burning in the northern part of the state and British Columbia has been descending on the Wenatchee Valley for the past several days. Well, black bear activity in the Icicle Valley has closed a Forest Service campground near Leavenworth. Lower Johnny Creek Campground is about 12 miles west of the city. The Forest Service says the campground will be closed until bear-proof garbage receptacles can be installed. Bears are foraging heavily in the area as summer comes to a close, and that poses a risk of conflict with humans. No date has been offered for when the camping facility might be available again. The nearby campground at Upper Johnny Creek remains open. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Football, school, cooler temps. It's almost fall. And what better way to celebrate than with the Fall Kickoff Savings Event at Click It RV? We've got to make room for new inventory, which means you'll save up to 30% off with no money down, 90 days to first payment, and lifetime warranties. With the best floor plans and many options under $40,000, there's never been a better time to buy. Visit us today on Frontage Road off I-90 in Moses Lake or go to clickitrv.com.
We got things coming our way that we've never faced before. Under the current conditions, the storm's going to continue to get stronger and stronger. Now's not the time to take a step back. Now's not the time to be soft. Now's the time to drive us in the right direction to protect our communities. The team that surrounds myself is the team to take you into the future.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, Governor Jay Inslee yesterday announced the coming end of all COVID-19 restrictions in Washington. The state of emergency Inslee declared in February of 2020 will be lifted on October 31st. Inslee made the announcement at a news conference yesterday at the state capitol. His emergency orders have demanded vaccination and other steps in multiple sectors, including healthcare. An indoor masking order from the State Department of Health will remain in place for hospitals, care centers, and other facilities.
When this started, we knew so little about this virus, but we knew something very profound, and that was it threatened the lives of millions of Washingtonians. Over the next 2.5 years, I exercised the authority granted by the legislature to issue 85 emergency orders to save lives in the state of Washington. And that was and is our priority, is to save lives in the state of Washington. Each one was tailored to do that, and I'm pleased to report that they have been significantly effective. Now, while we're grateful for the thousands of lives that have been saved, we know so many have been lost. But thankfully, our state has been resolute in the face of COVID. And we know we have saved tens of thousands of lives because we have acted together in the state of Washington. I think that Washingtonians can be appropriately proud of those efforts in taking care of their neighbors' lives that have saved so many. I should note, too, that this does not eliminate some of the requirements under other state laws independent from the emergency declaration. For instance, there are continuing masking requirements under our Department of Health rules in hospitals and the like. So we are moving forward, but we're not done with our efforts against COVID. We are continued to be committed to the public's well-being using different tools at our disposal. I just want to reiterate Washingtonians' appreciation for the healthcare workers in our state who have done so much to keep our families safe. These folks continue to work hard under the shadow of COVID. Anytime you have a chance to thank a healthcare worker, a nurse, a vaccinator, a physician, emergency room, a responder, a fire department, police department, say thanks. They deserve it after such a long period of intense work.
Let's take a look now at your north central Washington weather forecast as we head into another upcoming weekend. And boy, it looks nice for the weekend. We'll get to that in a second. Here's our jump off ridge Sky-Fi tower camera, and much better than we saw yesterday. You can actually see the Cascades. They're a little bit obscured out there from smoke, but boy, you can actually see the valley today, and that's a big improvement from yesterday. As we take a look at our temperatures, it stayed pretty cool today. 80 degrees, our unofficial high temperature, and that's pretty much right where we should be for this time of year. Our record high, 97. That was set back in 2011. 51 degrees, one of the coolest nights we've had in quite some time overnight. 55 is our normal, so actually 4 degrees below normal for our overnight low this morning. Our record is 42, set back in 1970. Sunrise now right at 6:30 and sunset at 7:25. Let's take a look at those Saturday temperatures. Things are going to warm up as we get into the upcoming weekend. Should be a nice one. We are going to see a little bit of haze, especially I think in our morning hours tomorrow, but notice the warm up. 87 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 86 for you folks in Quincy. Wenatchee, we will see 85 degrees for our high tomorrow, 84 in Leavenworth, and 85 as well for you folks in Chelan. So it should be a nice start to our weekend. Tonight we can expect widespread haze once again. This is about where that fire is burning, and with the northwesterly flow, yeah, it's bringing that smoke right back into the Wenatchee Valley. In fact, a lot of eastern Washington seeing that. For Saturday, a little bit of haze in the morning and then warmer. We'll see temperatures in the mid-80s. This area of low pressure dragging that warmer California air up our direction. So we will see a nice warm up for the weekend, especially as we get into Sunday. Partly cloudy skies for Sunday and warmer with high temperatures in the upper 80s. And that'll be a nice end to our weekend. Probably the warmest day we'll have for the rest of the year. For Monday, mostly sunny and warm. We'll see high temperatures in the mid-80s to kick off our next work week. Low pressure still anchored on Monday. Not going to do much until about Tuesday before it does make its way inland. And behind that, cooler temperatures. We're going to see highs on Tuesday in the low to mid 80s. And by the time we get to Wednesday, that trend's going to continue with cooler temperatures, mostly sunny skies. A little cooler on Wednesday with highs in the lower 80s. And notice a lot of the west only in the 60s and low 70s. And then for Thursday, partly cloudy skies, and for the first time in a long time, we're going to talk about isolated showers, a possibility late in the day on Thursday. And look at those high temperatures only in the upper 70s. Take a look now at your 7-day forecast as we head into the weekend. 56 overnight tonight, 85 tomorrow, a little haze, 89 on Sunday. Boy, it should just be a fantastic weekend. Kind of the last hurrah possibly for summer. 87 as we kick off our next work week on Monday, 84 for Tuesday. And notice the slow cool down. Mostly sunny on Wednesday and 82 degrees. And by the time we get to Thursday, partly cloudy skies, maybe, just maybe even an isolated shower. High temperature then, 78 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Connect with us on Networked as we introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation in the region. Get inspired, engaged, and networked right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy finally Friday. Mariners get back to the home stretch of the Major League season tonight with the first of 3 games against the defending World Series champions. Atlanta Braves come into Seattle with the 4th best record in baseball and trail the Mets in the NL East by a half game. Mariners continue to battle Tampa Bay and Toronto for the 3 American League wildcard spots. Robbie Ray will toe the rubber, 6:40 first pitch, and it's only available on Apple TV+. The other only American League West game last night saw the White Sox torch the A's for 21 hits in a 14-2 win. Chicago's win helped keep the pace with the Twins, who edged the Yankees 4-3. Both Minnesota and the White Sox are 7 games back in the wild card chase. Well, Buffalo made a major statement last night with a 31-10 win over the reigning Super Bowl champion LA Rams in the NFL. Josh Allen threw for nearly 300 yards as the Bills' leading rusher as well. The final score could have been much worse. Matthew Stafford sacked 7 times by Buffalo's defense. Rest of the NFC West will start their season Sunday as San Francisco visits Chicago at 10 a.m. on Fox. Arizona hosts Kansas City Sunday afternoon at 1:25 on CBS. Seahawks will wrap up the Week 1 on Monday Night Football when they host Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Coach Pete Carroll was asked about what it will be like to see the former quarterback in a Denver uniform.
What's it going to be like? It's not going to be anything different than it ever would be. Why would it be something different? I mean, he's a terrific player, and he's going to do his thing over there just like all the guys we play. This has been a long time coming. It's not like we just changed uniforms last week. So we're in good shape, and I'm not in any way expecting it to be anything different.
DK Metcalf says he and Wilson continue to be good friends despite the quarterbacks leaving for Denver. Metcalf says he understands the move and takes emotion out of it.
Thank him for, everything he taught me while he was here. But I know this is a business, and, it was a business decision on his end and the team's end, for him to move on. Same with Bobby. I still talk to them, regularly, probably once a week. But, like I said, it's just a business decision. I took my emotions out of it. We're still good friends, still brothers at the end of the day.
Seahawks and Broncos kick off Monday at 5:15 on ESPN and ABC. The college football season enters its 2nd week of full slates of games on Northwest teams coming up tomorrow. Washington State heads for Wisconsin to take on the 19th-ranked Badgers at 12:30 on Fox. Washington's home against Portland State at 1 o'clock. Eastern Washington draws an angry Duck team in Eugene at 5:30 on the Pac-12 network. Central Washington opens the season at home tomorrow at 6 o'clock against Western New Mexico. Well, the high school season is also in its 2nd week, with many teams on the road. Eastmont will try to even its record at 1-1 with a road game at Timberline tonight. In Lacey, Coach Michael Don says he learned a lot about his team in a 14-13 loss last Friday to Meade.
We made a lot of mistakes up front. Having 4 new starters up front, and they struggled a little bit with what to do. We had a lot of times where guys weren't pulling, guys were going the wrong way, guys were doing things, just uncharacteristic things for our program. But, we really focused on that this week, and we put a lot of emphasis on, lining up against fronts, running plays, and just kind of making sure we're doing the right thing. Because I thought that was the biggest difference is, defensively we had 2 communication errors, complete blown coverage. Other than that, I thought our defense played shutout-type football.
Don says Timberline will provide a good test for his squad on the road tonight.
They've got some really good athletes. They got some kids with some ball skills and ability. Offensively, they struggled a little bit. They turned it over quite a bit. Kelso actually scored 2 touchdowns and a safety on defense. And then Kelso's 1 offensive touchdown was off of a pick down to the 9-yard line. So basically every point was defense or a short field for the offense, 9 yards. Timberline did not do great offensively, but defensively, that also means Kelso didn't score on them.
Meanwhile, Wenatchee's coming off a 15-0 loss to Skyline a week ago. Coach Scott Devereaux says it was tough to go from practice mode to game mode.
I thought our defense played really well. They kept us in that game. Our offense, watched the film, learned a lot. The first half, we weren't blocking things quite right. And we weren't playing up the game speed. We're kind of still in that practice mode. And second half, we're able to just move a little quicker, execute a little better. Still didn't score, but we gave them a bit of a battle.
Wenatchee's on the road at Deming tonight to face Mount Baker in a rematch of last season's 10-0 win. Dev says he's more worried about the travel than anything else.
I did watch the game from last year. We made a million mistakes. It was one of the sloppiest games that I've seen in a long time. You know, probably the biggest part of this trip is 5 hours on a bus, a school bus, with no air conditioning and maybe the windows up. That might be the hardest part about this game.
Now, you see Dev in the gym there. I had to talk to him yesterday as the team had to practice inside because of smoke impacting games today. We'll talk about that coming up. Moses Lake will host Kamaikan tonight, while Ellensburg visits Davis. West Valley plays at Juneau Douglas, and Eisenhower hosts my alma mater, Cedro Woolley, at Zeffel Stadium tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Caribou Trail League games that were changed to road games involve Cashmere and Cascade. Bulldogs were supposed to host Brewster tonight, but instead, unhealthy air quality due to smoke from fires in British Columbia have forced the game to be moved to Brewster. Cascade's game against Tenaska also moved to Brewster. That kicked off earlier at 4 this afternoon. On the small school docket, Waterville-Mansfield has a date at Selkirk tonight. It's Okanagan at Sela. Manson hosts Kittitas. Ediats at Elmira, Cooley Heartline, and Lake Roosevelt hosts Highland. Liberty Bell's on the road at Lummi Nation tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Let's get to the Les Schwab School Board on the prep girls soccer pitch from last night. It was Ephrata blanking Cashmere 2-0. Cascade cruised by Clealum. Roslyn 6-2. Chelan and Liberty Bell played to a 0-0 tie. Omak bested Brewster 2-1. Walook shut out Quincy 1-0. Pateras and Manson were postponed by that smoke. Coming up today, Wenatchee and Central Valley postponed because of, lack of players. Meanwhile, the smoke might impact Eastmont's game tonight against Curtis. We'll see about that. Tomorrow, Moses Lake's Moses Lake is at Meade, while Quincy hosts Mabton. Ephrata is at Royal. Cashmere hosts LaSalle, and Eastmont's at Central Valley. In prep volleyball last night, Sela stopped Eastmont 3-1. Moses Lake powered past Prosser 3-0. Omak took care of Tenaska at 3-0. Cashmere edged Brewster in a thriller 3-2. Manson blanked Bridgeport, and Patera slipped by Soap Lake 3-1. Now, coming up this weekend, tomorrow in volleyball, Moses Lake travels to Freeman. Eastmont's at Monroe, and Wenatchee hosts Gonzaga Prep. That's at 2:30 in the afternoon. If you want to take in some preseason hockey, you'll have a chance tonight and tomorrow at the Town Toyota Center in their practice rink. Wenatchee Wild hosting the Trail Smoke Eaters in games at 7:05 tonight and 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Season's winding down at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval with their next to last race coming up tomorrow. It's Pepsi Night B-Mod Shootout and Fireworks. Spectacular racing includes Rockstar Energy B-Mods, the Plum Perfect Roadrunners, Northwest Vintage Modifieds, and Tri-State Mini Stocks. Gates open at 4:30, racing at 6. By the way, we'll be live with our coverage starting at 6. I'll be joined by Caleb Hart with our broadcast on TV as well as streaming on our website and our Facebook page. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Much more on our website. Go there and have a safe and sane weekend. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Lots of sports. Now let's check in with Dan Koontz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Bill Eagle is the interim superintendent of the Wenatchee School District as the new school year gets underway, and Bill will be my guest on tomorrow's episode. Bill, what's on the agenda?
Well, we'll talk about my role as an interim superintendent in the Wenatchee School District and some of the great things that we have going with this start of the school year.
And we'll look at my personal record. Just kidding. I sucked at math. I wish I had you as a math teacher, Bill. That's on the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
Thanks, guys. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend. News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.
The NCW Life channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCW Life channel today.